Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd.
So we just came off of a nice Venus star point weekend. If you were tuned into the show last week, we talked a lot about the Lion's Gate and some cycles that we're moving through, and the Venus star point really being a nice, we'll just say, dollop of cream on top of last week. And oh boy, she was. So the Venus star point is when the sun and Venus line up from our viewpoint here on Earth. And Venus is in her retrograde in Leo right now. And so she does this it's about a 6-month cycle. She's moving backward currently at just about 20 degrees, between 19 and 20 degrees of Leo. And at this Venus star point, it was at 20 degrees of Leo. And so they call it the star point because Venus is that brightest planet in the sky. And we normally see her. We just had her in the sky at sunset. You know, those of you that are actually out there, like pay attention and watching what's going on in the sky. She then, left and is moving then across the brightness of the sun. And so we can't see her, but she is in this star point. That's when she is in the heart of the sun. And it's called a combustion because she is moving backwards. The sun is moving forwards. They call this a combustion in astrology. And so it is like it sounds, a combustion. It's big. The feelings are big and bright. And these two brightest things in the sky, Venus and the sun, collide here at the Venus star point, and this happened at 20 degrees of Leo. So this is where you would want to pull in your own birth chart. We have the sun in Leo right now. We have the moon today moving into Leo, and Venus, they're doing her retrograde, the new moon in Leo tomorrow. So there's a lot of energy here over the weekend and moving into this week, at the start of this week, in Leo. So where is this 20 degree point in your birth chart? What house does Leo fall in? And so you can kind of see a little more how this is going to affect you personally, what areas of your life this new moon, particularly tomorrow in Leo, what intentions you should be setting, what you should be focusing on. And chances are this Venus star point was definitely a big, brilliant clarification point, hopefully, for something involving this Venus retrograde cycle we're moving through. So it's in Leo. What part of your birth chart is this? And that area of your life, we are going back. We are looking again how we can make changes, how we can edit things, and how we can set things kind of straight so that as we move forward, and Venus isn't going to be out of this retrograde cycle until later in the fall, where she'll be finally entering some new territory. But Venus themes include love, money, trust, our value system, our relationships. All these things are sort of in a up for grabs sort of mode. What do we need to make changes to? How do we need to make shifts in our life to allow, love, trust, relationships to balance and harmonize? That's what Venus wants to do. She wants things to be non-conflictual. She really wants everything to be cool and to be tasty and the textile to be nice and soft to the touch. She wants all the sensories to be pleasant. And so Venus retrograde can be a little uncomfortable. This is something that will continue continue to talk about as we move forward. She is just going to continue to move backward through Leo. And this is going to be just kind of bringing up more of those themes as we move later into August and into the beginning of September. And so this week I am bringing this report on August 15th. So I use all Pacific West Coast times. We have today, August 15th, a square between the Sun and Uranus. And this is a brilliant, very much the brilliance that the Sun just received off of that planet of Venus, and they connected their energies together. Well, the very next aspect that the Sun is making is a square to Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of changes, of awakenings, of sudden things happening. And so there could be some big surprises on August 15th. The Sun is our core identity. This is our personal, this is our experience, here. So anytime the Sun has an aspect, it's like there's something happening to us as an individual, and so this square with Uranus, a square is always maybe a little unexpected. It's a 90-degree angle, so it's almost like the feeling of like something abruptly hitting you from the side, kind of wasn't really in your sight. And so a square can be already a sudden sort of feeling. And Uranus is in Taurus right now. As I mentioned, the Sun's in Leo, just in his home sign. The Sun is in his major brilliance. And like I said, coming off of that energy of the Venus star point, very, very strong Sun, feeling a very strong core identity right now. And Uranus in Taurus is just about ready to station retrograde. And so Uranus's energy is slowing down a bit. Uranus is at about 23 degrees of Taurus. So another area to check out in your birth chart, where is that 23 degrees of Taurus? What house does that fall in, and what area of your life is this sort of sudden thing going to be, where is this going to be happening? This in Taurus is just already kind of ground shaking, but because Uranus is slowing down quite a bit, these feelings, these, small little earthquakes that are happening, these ground shaking moments, these sudden sort of unexpected things happening, they're a really deep, slow rumble down there. And this is, setting Uranus up for retrograde. And so we have more Uranus action as Uranus is involved in the new moon in Leo tomorrow also, and more this week. So I am moving my chart forward here to the new moon on the 16th of August. And this new moon, as I mentioned, is in Leo. This is at 24 degrees of Leo. And this is still very much close to this Venus retrograde. She's only 4 or 5 degrees away. And so she's connected in here to this new moon in Leo energy. The Sun and the moon come together during a new moon, and it's a time when we start a new monthly cycle. We start a new lunar cycle, a new 28-day program. So we not only start a new one, but we have the opportunity to conclude one also. So this last week has been a lot about closure. It's been a lot about kind of deciding, what we need to leave in the past and what we're going to be moving forward into. And when we have a new moon, it's an opportunity to make a new intention for the next cycle that's coming up. Leo themes are very much heart heart-centered themes. Leo is a heart-centered sign, and this is where we make a promise to ourselves to follow our passions and to follow our heart. And Leo is a beautiful energy that draws people in. It's very much about getting attention. And so are you giving yourself the attention that you need? Are you giving other people the attention that they need? That's always a theme that's tied up into Leo. And also, how are we drawing people in? What type of energy, are we putting out that is drawing others in? Because the sun is what represents the sign of Leo. And the sun is in this square with Uranus at the time of this new moon. And that's what brings Uranus in to this new moon. So there could be something very unexpected that happens around this new moon, or maybe something has already taken place. This is also tied in to the Venus retrograde theme. So it could be something regarding that. And so, just stay tuned in. This new moon in Leo may provide some sudden sort of awakenings. That can be sudden realizations too, as Uranus is the planet of awakening and revolution and revelation. And so something, big could happen during this new moon, the start of something good, as they might say. And moving into the weekend, there's a lot of lunar action. And also there is an Earth Grand Trine that is forming and is available to us this week. So with a Grand Trine, that is just very supportive energy. And with it being in all earth signs, this is Pluto in Capricorn at 28.5 degrees, Mars at 23 degrees of Virgo. So it's kind of a loose trine, 5 degrees apart. And then Uranus in Taurus at 23 degrees. So it's an exact trine between Mars and Uranus, which is definitely another energy that could come through this week. Just take care of yourselves, as Mars can be a little aggressive and a little violent sometimes. So with a trine between such a sudden unexpected energy and kind of that aggressive energy of Mars, it can come out in sometimes a volatile way. So that's just one thing to look out for. But all in all, I would say that this Earth Grand Trine is an opportunity for us to really focus and keep ourselves on our 2 feet, as Leo can be very lofty energy sometimes, and sometimes not fully focused on the self, maybe, very much concerned about others and kind of what people are thinking and feeling. So the Grand Trine brings us back in this week to ourselves, into our heart, which is truly what Leo season is all about. And by this time next week, we'll be talking about the sun moving into Virgo and the start of Virgo season, Mercury stationing to go retrograde, and also the week after that, Uranus goes retrograde and Jupiter. So we are entering a slower time, a slower phase. So a very good time to come inside and focus on the heart and our passions and what keeps us lit up from the inside. So I hope you have a really good week and a beautiful new moon in Leo. And I will talk to you again next week. Thank you so much. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.